Hello, everybody. Welcome to Green Vibes Podcast. And I think some people are missing us, right, Erica? Because it has been 2 weeks that we don't release any podcast. But yes, that's we are pretty busy working. I
And-
have,
And some people's were sicky.
yeah, people's getting sick in their cast. I'm not blaming the COVID. It's enough, right?
Yeah.
Let's stop blaming COVID for everything that happened. But yeah, that's why that's for been for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks that you don't release any new episodes. But there is a reason for this because today we are very special guest. That's why, right? We are waiting for the special here. And we come back with a very special guest today. Today, I'm talking here with Angie Bell. Angie, she's actress, writer, animal activist, and the host of the Vegan Fashion Show. That's what we're going to talk about today. Thank you for being here, Angie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight to be here.
It's nice to have you here. So, let's start with the vegan fashion. And tell me, what is exactly its vegan fashion that it happens soon, right? Tell me when and what is this?
So just to clarify, do you want to know what the vegan fashion show is or what vegan fashion is?
Everything.
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 Just everything.
Just
okay.
everything. Tell
All
me
right.
about everything.
Just all the things. All right. So I'll start by just...
People are very excited to know about what is
for
this.
For
this
sure.
Vegan fest. Let's just
dive in.
Yeah, exactly.
Just dive in there. All right. So I'll
Go
start by
ahead.
saying, so the vegan fashion show, it is a really exciting, educational, charitable fashion show that's going to be taking place in Toronto on October 2nd.
October 2nd. Peoples, write down your agenda. October 2nd. Save the date.
Schedule. Yes, absolutely.
Save the date.
It is a must-see event here in Toronto. But just some background on what vegan fashion actually is. So vegan fashion refers to any fashion items. So we're talking about clothes, accessories, bags, that sort of thing that were created without harming any animals.
Awesome.
Exactly. Yes. Very awesome. It is the future of fashion. It is cruelty fashion. And basically that refers to not only the finalized product, but that refers to also in the pre-production process as well. So that's what vegan fashion is all about.
It's perfect. Yeah, because nowadays we saw so many events that is happening here in Toronto. We got part of 2 or 3 already. And it's about foods, right? Most of people tell about foods, that's the plant-based food, right? And we need to understand that we have another field, that's the fashion, that's
absolutely
clothes,
yes,
bags, a wallet, right? Sometimes we have a wallet, our wallet just see it. It's made by animals, right? And sometimes we even realize about this.
There are so many incredible leading vegan brands across so many different sectors. And as you said, there are some phenomenal food companies, food leaders that are just redefining the fact that I think there was a preconceived notion many years ago that vegan food tasted a certain way or that it wasn't necessarily as tasty as some of the more mainstream, I want to say like fast food options. But nowadays there's so many. And the same applies to fashion. There are so many incredible brands out there that are redefining the industry, that are innovating how this industry works. And we are going to be showcasing some of them in October. So those who love fashion and those who love animals, and quite frankly, those who just want to have something fun to do on a night in October, definitely don't miss this.
I'm very excited to see this. I'm pretty sure that will be amazing event there. Everybody's going to enjoy. And so what inspired you to join the vegan fashion show in Canada? What's inspired you?
Oh, that's, right? I am a vegan. I'm a vegan and I'm an activist. I'm an animal ally and an activist. And so when I was approached by Vicky, who is the producer of the show, Vicky Lanola, to join the team that is putting this together, I was so honored and excited. Any cause that is there to help the animals and help raise awareness for this cause is something that I'd love to be a part of. I want to say that the motto of this show is that compassion is always in fashion. And that's everything that I believe in. I very much firmly believe that animals are not ours to use or abuse for anything, whether that is for food, for entertainment, for experimentation. I very much believe in live and let live. So everything that this show is, and I love fashion, so I love that as well. So absolutely, it's everything that I love and believe in.
So that's two things that you love it,
Two
right?
things
Animals,
combined.
fashion, right?
Absolutely, exactly.
You could combine two things that, it's awesome. It's like me sometimes I tell because I love music, I love rock, and I'm a vegan. So if I can combine vegan with music,
perfect fusion.
Perfect, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And who knows, in the future, I'll tell her always my dream. It's maybe very, very future. We have a big concert with all vegan artists, and all money we can revert for some place.
I think that you know what?
Imagine this.
Don't say it's a dream. I think that's a great plan. I
Right?
think it all starts with small steps.
Because we have an amazing people that's in the rock bands that they are famous. But I already have here Derek Green from Sepultura. Who knows the Sepultura? He's an amazing guy and he's vegan. And even here in Canada, we have Beef Naked, that she's an amazing singer. We have Alisa. Alisa from Arch Enemy. She's an amazing. So that's the thing that we want, right? So be part. We try to do something that even small thing that even the big in the future, it can be a very big impact in the future.
And I want to say the vegan community is one of the most supportive and kind and positive communities that I have ever been a part of.
Yeah.
So when it comes to organizing any event, whether it is food or whether it's music or whatever it might be, we're an incredibly supportive community. So I think it's just sort of getting that word out and starting to maybe put your feelers out to see who's interested. Yeah. But I think that's a great idea. Definitely let me know. I'd be interested in going.
Let's start. This is a big, just a start.
Yeah.
You'll be nice. You'll be the host.
Wow. Call me up.
So, and can you tell us about the designers lineup that will be at the Vegan Fashion?
I can share
you can
few.
Share all of them?
I can't share all, but I can share a few. Okay. I can give you a little sneak preview. So a couple of designers that we have currently on the designer catwalk include Ave Bags, Diane Crow, Candy Intimates, and Eleanor Geraldine. But one thing I want to say is that as we're a month from the show, and so, there's a lot of things that are being added and being announced as we get closer to. We're going to have not only designers on the catwalk, but we're going to have designers that are going to be in our vendor hall as well. We're going to have what's called a sustainable textile display, where these vendors are going to be showing off their products and their raw materials as well. So there's lots to see. The one thing I would say is that to follow sort of updates as we lead up to the show, I'd recommend that people follow us on social at the Vegan Fashion Show on Facebook and on Instagram.
Okay.
Yep. And also we've been covered in press. I should have mentioned that as well, but so far we've been covered by, it's incredible, Harper's Bazaar, Yahoo Finance, and I don't want to leave anything out. I know it was Yahoo Finance, Harper's Bazaar, Forbes. We've been covered by Forbes. Yeah. So I would say if anyone's interested to learn more, definitely Google us. We've been covered by a lot of major outlets as well. So it
goes to what you said, that the vegan community, it's amazing.
So supportive.
Exactly. Even it's the first time, right? That's this vegan, and you see so many great vendors.
So much interest in this. There is a lot of interest in this. 100%. Yes.
Right. That's the same thing when you start our podcast, right? Because our focus here, it's with animals, with environment, right? Our guests do not necessarily to be vegan, right? We are welcome here, any kind of peoples, any kind of companies, vendors, as long as they are doing something good for the environment or to help the animals, peoples, right? And at the beginning, we figured out, because we are looking for some guests, and so many people are interested here. Even we are small, right? We are not the biggest one in Canada, the podcast, everything. But for me, if I can change one people, if I can do something, or people can help us.
That's how change happens.
Right.
It's honestly one voice that starts, because I feel like, especially when it comes to veganism in general, I don't believe that anyone wants to consciously hurt animals. I don't believe that. But I think that so many of these industries, fashion for certain, and also, I mean, a lot of us vegans know the big agriculture industry as well. So much of these industries rely on sort of secrecy, right? People not knowing what happens
Yes.
behind the curtain.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Right? So when we as animal allies know, I think the biggest thing we can do, the most powerful thing we can do is use our voices to spread that awareness, because I think people want to make the right choice. They just sometimes aren't empowered to do so.
That's the good thing. They need to at least have knowledge, and they make the choice, right? As I hear, we said, I don't point for everybody that you have to. No, you don't have to. It's your choice. That's how it works. As long as you have knowledge to get the choice, right?
And it's small
It's-
steps, 100%.
It's small steps. That's
Small
very
steps.
good. So, and this fashion, it's open for the public, for everybody that wants to join the event. They
Anyone
can't,
who gets
right?
a ticket, is
Perfect.
welcome to come. And it's not, I wanted to say, it's not sort of specific to, as you said, it's not specific to vegans. It's literally,
That's what
it's everybody, right?
everybody's
So-
it's welcome to. And what people that are going can expect about this event? What they're gonna see the most there?
So I would say it is a mix between, we have the catwalk. We spoke about that before, but we're also going to have a vendor hall with vendors that are going to be showing all kinds of really exciting, fantastic vegan goods, fashion goods. We're going to have award-winning musical guests that are going to be performing. We're going to be having, of course, it's October, so we'll have pumpkin spice lattes, non-dairy.
Yeah,
and
no
we'll
dairy,
have-
yeah, exactly.
non-dairy. We will have educational videos and displays, raffle prizes. And for those who love social media, we're going to have photo walls to take pictures with as well. It's going to be a really, really unforgettable night. So
Awesome.
it's good. Yeah, it'll be great.
I'm pretty
for
sure that's
everyone who is interested in having a great time. So especially if you love animals and especially if you love fashion. Yeah.
And if you want
Yeah.
to get information, right? So just
Yes.
get some knowledge.
One thing I would love to mention as well is the fact
Mm.
that it's a really great event for a great cause. And
Yeah.
by that, I
Exactly.
mean all the proceeds from everything are going to a fantastic charity called Animal Justice. That organization is leading the legal fight for animals in Canada. So for people who aren't really aware of what that means, basically what this organization does is they fight against referred to as agriculture gag laws, but also called ag gag laws. They fight for legal protections for animals who are subject to experimentation, who are being used for educational, being used for entertainment purposes, and companion animals as well. So the work they're doing is really, really admirable. If anyone is interested in learning more about them, check them out, animaljustice.ca.
They are amazing.
They're fantastic.
I know them, and they have been doing a very amazing job. It's a great job that they are doing with to help all the animals and to bring knowledge for the people, right? About
They're doing it.
this.
They have like a you can sign up for it. It's like an animal activist training program. It's completely
Yeah.
free. Fantastic resources to learn more about just animal activism, learning about animal rights. Fantastic resource. I highly do recommend that as well. One more thing, I wanted to say that our presenting sponsor is Umano. They're a nonprofit that supports holistic empathy. Holistic empathy is basically that the well-being of animals, the environment, and humans are all interconnected. They're our presenting sponsor, and our producer Vicky helped create their holistic empathy workshops as well. So, great event for a great cause. Don't miss it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that everybody's very excited to go to the day. Me too.
I hope so. It's gonna be great.
I'm pretty sure that they are.
Yeah.
Another question for you. Is there anything vegan fashion related you feel like the vegan marketing is lacking?
Good question.
Right?
Good question. I would say that for any non-vegan alternative on the market, that there is, in my mind, a vegan alternative that is more than capable. But that being said, I think one challenge facing the vegan fashion sector right now, it really comes down to sort of conflicting industry interests. And
money, right?
Yes, and
money?
I'm kind of hesitating with how to say it, but at the end of the day, right, it's that any kind of innovation costs money. Any kind of change costs money, and a lot of organizations, companies that are anxious about doing those kind of risks are sort of sitting on the sidelines, not really sure that they want to. Some leading brands have, but some are still waiting, and I think it really comes down to money. Yeah, being afraid of innovation due to costs associated with it.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
some big companies. They have at least part of their portfolio with vegan,
They're dipping their
right?
toes in there.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Because as I said, we have options. Let's say about food, right? The food, it's the biggest one for now. That's a big change. We see that 5 to 10 years ago, it's pretty hard to find some vegan foods if you compare with today, right? That today it's easier and it's more
Every mainstream grocery store has their
right.
plant-based section
Yeah.
now, which is
Exactly.
amazing. It's
Even if
fantastic.
it's small, if you go to big groceries, you see there 6, 12 feet of the foods. The rest is all meat.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's a start. It's the same thing with fashion, right? We see that even big companies, big winter jackets that we have a very famous in Canada, but now we have option that keep you warm.
They're
The
fantastic.
same thing.
Noise is amazing. I just wanted to shout them out because they're great. But you're right.
Yeah,
In that
exactly.
they're affordable and they're made without harming animals. They're
Mhm.
made not at the expense of somebody. And they're more than capable. And they're affordable, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's affordable. It's
Yes.
the same. It's before it was different. I think that's what I feel that before it is for if you have a vegan option, it was a little bit expensive that you goes to the regular one, but now it's very affordable.
There's a lot
It's,
more organizations now that are, as you say, they're affordable, and I think it's motivated by the fact we can talk about this later, but I think it's
Mhm.
largely motivated by the fact that we are facing an ecological collapse right now. Our
Yeah.
planet needs change,
Yeah,
right? And so we have certain industry leaders that are recognizing that and pivoting before they have to, right? Pivoting before they are necessarily forced to by certain, albeit whatever government parameters, whatever else. And they're the ones that are leading the change, and they're noticing that there is a market that wants it. And I
yeah,
think that's the reason that it's helping sort of maybe drive costs down a little bit, because there is such a market that it's not just a niche group of people
yeah,
that are
exactly.
purchasing it, right?
And I'm afraid about the fashion. Let's say about
Sure.
fashion, because it's some people's see fashion as a status, right? I'm gonna use this brand
Mhm.
because this brand give me status.
Mhm.
I'm gonna wear this jacket because this jacket has a symbol here that give me status, right?
For sure.
And everybody they shows for the word for everybody post that in the Instagram. Hey, I'm wearing a $2,000 jacket. See this brand.
Yeah.
How it's hard. I think people change their minds about this situation also, right? When you talk about the fashion fields, uh, to change that people that they just wants to show for everybody, just to show up everybody and say, hey, I'm wearing $2,000 jacket, right? And change for the one it's vegan.
And I
I
think
think it's a challenge
Oh,
for
it's
this.
certainly a challenge. I think a lot of those brands, and I'm not going to mention their names, but we know who they are, and that they're really, high-end luxury brands that use a lot of furs in some of their cases,
Exactly.
use a lot of
Yeah.
animal skins. They rely on the fact that no one sees how those products are made,
Yeah.
right? And so when you have organizations like Animal Justice, like PETA, like Animal Equality that are blowing the ceiling off of how
They
these
show
things are
some
made,
videos that is,
they're not luxurious. It's like wearing you're wearing cruelty on your back. And so I
yeah.
think the more that we rebrand as consumers, right? Um, what they actually look like gradually, and of course, like any change, no change happens overnight. But the more that we have that conversation and rebrand those items, there will be a gradual change. And I think it often starts with influencers, people who are high
Yeah.
up in the industry, your singers, your actors, people that
Yeah.
often follow and people aspire to, that they start saying things like,
Yeah.
a good example is like, I don't eat chicken nuggets, right? Like, I mean, I think everyone has seen that video by Harry Styles by now, but it makes people question and start wondering what they're doing and can change consumer behavior. So yes, 100%. A lot of these big brands are really digging their feet in the ground and don't want
Yeah.
to change. But I think if, as long as we keep raising awareness and keep showing how those items are made, change will come.
Yeah, and they are realizing about this. I'm pretty sure. Because as I said,
It's social media, right? I mean,
Right.
social media is a bit of a weapon that way, right? You
yeah,
can't.
exactly.
There's only so much that you can suppress before people start to see the practices that are happening, and they're abhorrent, right? So
I hope this is the future, and they need to change from the future because otherwise they're going to be behind. So many companies, they are changing already. As I said, even they are no vegan field. There is a small part they are starting to have to offer for the customer the vegan or the
100%.
cruelty-free products.
And they're in any major shopping center. A lot of it really just comes down to when you go shopping, you know, look at the tag. I mean, I know that sounds really basic,
That-
right? But so oftentimes we shop and we're in our happy place and we're not necessarily conscious consumers of what we're buying. I think it's just that added step of either looking at the tag and seeing what it's made of, and if it's an animal product or an animal derived product, put it down and get something else. Because there are, as you say, like there are fantastic brands. I want to say off the top of my head, I know Zara has a sustainability brand. H&M recently rolled out a sustainability brand and a vegan-friendly brand. It's happening. It's just a matter of us as consumers. To touch upon your question before about, why certain brands are sort of dragging their heels, I think that it's us as the consumer that drives the market, right? So if we as the consumer start demanding that brands are eco-friendly, that they are sustainable, that they are cruelty-free, brands will be forced to change and accommodate.
They're changing, yeah.
Right. So it really starts with us. And I mean, we see it happening. It's happening already. That's why we have more plant-based options.
Right?
Yes, 100%.
How many new brands, cosmetic brands, they are 100% vegan and cruelty-free.
Yes, and they have the vegan proudly displayed or the plant-based proudly displayed at the top. And it really comes down to that us as the consumer, we're starting to demand that of retailers. And so they're starting to respond.
Yeah, I saw those brands, the biggest brands, they are advertising their brands with the big V for the vegan.
Yes, a little plant,
right?
Little plant-based symbol. Of course, you got to be careful with that too. But read the ingredients.
They want to show up this brand, right? They want to people recognize their brands by be vegan.
Yes,
that's pretty nice because the company that I work in, it's a merchandising that are advertising. And recently that we received the pre-packs that we received there or the new merchandise for the top, it's very big. The name, the company, and the big V for the vegan and cruelty-free besides.
I mean, we are living in different times, right? And we're not living in, I love my grandparents very much, but we're not living in that time, right? We're a new generation. And I want to say,
it's changed.
The next generation, I want to see Gen Z, right? They are a more eco-aware, environmentally aware generation. Yeah. They are asking different things of the market. And thankfully, it is finally responding, not as quickly as we would like, but it's starting to respond.
Yeah. And I always talk with her that you said we always need to ask why, right? Because sometimes we use the eyelash. Why need to be for the mink, right? The eyelash is made by minks. Why?
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And I think...
Even when I was studying when I did university, it was in 96. I started my university. I'm a pharmacist in biochemistry. At that day, we go to the lab and we just small mouses that we have that rats, rabbits that we tested, right? As a student, at that time, we used it to do this. And now I'm asking, why? What the reason for the student to have a rabbit or a mouse or a rat and kill them?
I think a lot of it is it's easy to be on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to kind of say this is what we've always done, and so that it's the right way because we've always done it that way. I think it takes a really sort of conscious mind to say and wake up and say, as you say, it doesn't need to be that way, and it doesn't need to be that way. When it comes to the mink eyelashes, I mean, it's just. I mean, I want to say, and I could talk about this for hours, but the big agriculture industry is, I mean, it is frighteningly resourceful at using every piece of animals that it's possibly capable of doing. I don't know if either of you, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know. Have you been to the Save movement, the vigils that they have?
No,
by
I don't.
Chance? So they basically hold safe vigils. You go to the slaughterhouse, in the area with the slaughterhouse, and you witness the animals going in to be slaughtered. The reason I mention it is because when I went, and I've been a couple times now, the entire block where this takes place, every single building on that block is a building that utilizes one piece of the animal. We have created a relentless sort of death factory of sorts.
It is. It
right?
is.
And so when it comes to the link feathers, right, for the lashes, sorry, I'm not surprised because we are so relentless when it comes to using every piece of what we possibly can to essentially profit from at the expense of the animals. So yeah, I think it's time that we as consumers start to fight back and say that's wrong. It's wrong. We don't want that. We don't want this anymore. Like we're not buying it. We're not supporting it. And I think that's how these industries get shut down.
And that's what the vegan fashion is going to show us.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's all the other alternatives, right? It's all the other alternatives that don't harm the animals and don't harm the environment.
That's why this kind of event is so important for everybody, and because bring knowledge, right? Bring awareness about it, that you don't need to wear this one. You have an option.
We have so many options, and
There's
they're
so
beautiful
many
options.
options.
They're beautiful and they're new and they're innovative. It's the fashion of the future, right? So don't miss it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Tagline.
And well, how can we encourage people to, let's say, that to wear some no animal products? How can you? What's the message, for example, there at the fashion, at the day, the event? What kind of message that you're gonna show for the people that encourage them to go vegan or to wear some clothes that is not from animals?
So I would say that whenever you're trying to make a big life change, it doesn't happen overnight. You do it in small steps. So by that, I mean, I think that a first step would certainly be exploring, going to events like this, seeing what options you like, adopting small bits of it into your wardrobe. What we were saying before about the fact that so many leading retailers offer vegan alternatives, that's a really easy way to start transitioning a wardrobe, right? Which is when you go to a good example, where did I see it before? Marshalls, Winners, Nordstrom Rack, all of these major retailers that you can find in any major urban center or even suburban center, they all carry vegan options.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen it, you maybe have. Some of those options actually have like the PETA approved label on them, which have been certified as being animal cruelty-free and not using animal material.
Yeah.
So it's really easy. Like it's easier than ever before to start adopting vegan items into your wardrobe or vegan food into your diet. It's just a matter of sort of doing it in small steps and being a conscious consumer versus being one on autopilot. So does that answer your question?
I think, yes, absolutely. I think that once the people realize what happened with the animals behind the scene, right? Because it's easy for you to go to any groceries or any clothes shopping and go to mall, you go to any store and you buy a clothes. Why you not just look at if there is animation about PETA, as you said, that is approved for animal cruelty-free, right? And you have the option, you can see. It's easy for you to just look at and say, hey, this is not animal cruelty-free. Let's take. But if people don't realize what happened behind the scene, right, it's hard for you when they're going to buy something to look at why I'm going to buy this one that's cruelty-free and this is not.
And
right?
100%.
I think that's our challenge.
100%. I think a lot of the people that I've spoken to, a lot of my friends that are non-vegan, their attitude sometimes when you try to bring up this conversation is, that they don't want to hear about it, right? So it's a conscious choice. Conscious ignorance sounds really harsh, but I mean, it really is. It's people that consciously just don't want to know. My comment to that would be that having seen how these industries function, they are, not only are they cruel and abhorrent to the animals, but if that isn't enough, they're also biohazards to their neighborhoods. They are toxic.
Yeah.
They pose a risk to our own health, right? So if the animal's health isn't enough to necessarily sway you to make a change, it's really important that we become aware of what's happening, because I think in some ways we assume that if it's government approved, that it's okay and that it's safe and that it's healthy for us. But I think it's important that we are conscious consumers and that we look a step further and learn, because as you say, when you look behind the curtain, there's a lot that's happening that should not be legalized. It's wrong.
Exactly.
It's straight up wrong.
Yeah, I'm happy to see here in Canada so many mink fur, right? The mink farm that it had been closed a couple months ago, I think. I'm not wrong. And they are going forward with this. They are closing so many minking farms here in Canada, or any other farms that just use the animals for fun, let's say like that. And it's a step forward, right? A step forward. That's our.
I mean, at the end of the day, all these industries make a lot of people a lot of money. Yeah. Right? So that's the hardest part. We want to shut them down, but
that's I said. That's money. It's hard when you go through the big companies. That's a lot of money.
And also, like big agriculture, they are involved in a lot more than just the industries, right? They give to certain political campaigns. Their hands are in a lot of different pots, so to speak. Their hands are in a lot of places. Their influence is in a lot of places, making their influence on decision-making uneven, right? They have a huge sway on the choices that both governments and organizations are making.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's one of the things. The government is very important part of this one for the change, right? Because sometimes if you change some laws or some part that comes for the political part, it's very helpful also, right?
It's really hard. And I think there's an irony, right? In that our planet right now, how do I say this? We're living in a time when productivity is placed at the forefront, right? We need our economy to consistently deliver more, right? We always need to be making more money. And I say that when I say we, I mean organizations, right? They need to keep showing their stakeholders and their profit holders and their shareholders that they're making money. But the irony is that what our environment needs is quite the opposite. What our environment needs is a scale back in production. We need to be focused and regearing on initiatives that are sustainable and that do not deplete our environment anymore, but give back to it. And so, I don't really know. I mean, I definitely call on governments to make those changes. But I sort of think at the end of the day, from what I've seen, that a lot of those changes take place that when we as the consumer start to ask for things, because money speaks volumes. Yeah.
Money talks, right?
Exactly.
Unfortunately, that's what we thought. For sure, it's a big change. Do you have another question for her? Anything else that you're gonna say? Because I'm pretty sure that's at the day for the vegan fashion. We are gonna everything that we're talking here, we are gonna see there, right? It will be very good because the people can see and can realize the difference, and that every people can make a difference. That we have options to change, that we have options that we can buy, right? And that's it. And it's affordable, right?
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to include. I mean, like any other fashion, there's a range, right? So you have everything from the high-end luxury options to the sort of the mainstream, everyday, very affordable type of brands.
Very affordable.
Absolutely. There's such a range. And I don't think that anyone can say that they don't want to adopt a vegan wardrobe because it's too expensive. That's just simply not true. There's so many options out there. Like we were saying,
I'm telling the truth.
They're out there.
I just bought the last event that we was part. There is a vendor there with the winter jackets. I bought one. I'm telling the truth. If almost a half price, if you go to the big brands in Canada that everybody know, right? It's a half price, and the quality, it's amazing. I'm just waiting for the winter to see if it's really warm up. I think so. But yeah, the price is pretty affordable. It's not that something that I say that is expensive that you can. And if you get your wardrobe with all vegan stuff, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be cheaper than you buy the regular one.
And I mean, I want to say that sometimes I've heard in the past that, we talk about sustainable, right? And we know that in the world there is a plastic issue, right? Yeah. There is a plastic problem and our oceans are overflowing with it. One of the things that the leather industry does really well is that they sort of re-gear the conversation from the animals to talking about plastic,
Yes.
right? Plastic in the vegan industry. The irony is that, you know, if we're going to talk about plastic, so much of the same people that talk about maybe not wanting to try vegan brands because of the plastic
Because
that may be in them
exactly.
are the
yeah,
very
you're right.
same people that also eat fish, right? And so there's an irony there because there was a metric I read, it was in a scientific journal, and it basically just said that something like 75 to 85% of the plastic that is in the Great Basin is currently associated to the fishing industry.
Yeah.
It's the fishing industry. And so if you really want to make a difference with plastic, which I think is fantastic, it's really important that we do, there are other more effective ways to do it, right? Vegan fashion is sustainable. In fact, a lot of the brands that we were talking about, they actually reuse plastic. They reuse plastic from plastic straws to essentially repurpose it, get it out of landfill, get it out of the ocean, and repurpose it so that people can wear it. So it's the way forward. It's what our planet needs. It's affordable. And, I really hope that people do care about the animals and that they do care about the cruelty in the industry. But if that isn't enough to sway, then by all means, I say, if you want to help the planet, if you want to ensure that our planet is here, in the next 50 to 60 years and sustainable for next generations, vegan fashion, vegan lifestyle is the way to go.
That's the best way. I'm pretty sure. And you are right. And we have people think just animals and plastic, right? Let's see about environment here and here animal cruelty, right? So if you go both, let's see.
I've heard some people say that that vegan brands can be plasticky, right? Or that they can be like not as durable, whatever else. I mean, like any other industry, the vegan fashion industry, it's always innovating, it's always adapting, it's always changing. There are certain brands that do use, PVC or PU? It's two different sort of plastic derivatives. But the point being is, they're always learning. There's a lot of vegan brands that don't use those alternatives. I know PETA has a recommended list if you want to see what those are. But the point being is that this industry actually utilizes plastic, trying to get it out of the places that makes it destructive versus the leather industry, which we were talking about. I mean, it's destructive in so many ways in terms of greenhouse gas emissions, water usage, cruelty to animals. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's a long way, right? I'm pretty sure it's a long way for everybody. But this kind of event that is really show us what is for us to see forward, right? To see at the future. That
it is the way of the future, and it'll be an amazing evening as well. Like we're going to have a great number of performers. It'll be really great. So please do join us.
And who will be the singer there? Can you tell us? If you tell it before at the beginning, I don't remember.
Let me just
because you said the singer said, "Hey, it's a bit nice."
We have a number of singers and performers. So I'll start with this. So we have the one of the speakers that is going to be speaking is Kamel Lepchuk. She's the executive director of Animal Justice. So she's fantastic. She's very well versed in everything to do with legal protections for animals in Canada.
Awesome.
We have Stephanie Braganza performing. She is an award-winning musical guest. She's won awards. She's been on, I believe it was CBC Music's Top South Asian Canadian Artists. She's award-winning. She's so fantastic. She's bound to delight.
We have to invite her.
You have to invite her. Yes, so she's
an amazing my next guest, right?
Amazing performer and a lovely human
I already
being.
have a lot of next guests.
Just a wonderful human overall. And we have Kristen Corbett, who will be a musical guest as well, performing. So I don't want to miss out. We also have Angela Argentina. I want to make sure I get her name right, but she is an expert in competitive dance and gymnastics. So she'll be doing some pretty cool stuff too. So more details on our website, theveganfashionshow.org. But it's going to be an unforgettable night. So
awesome. I'm pretty sure.
Please join us. Yeah.
Everybody have to enjoy it. Save the date, October 2nd.
October
right?
2nd. Yes.
Okay. Address, time, everything could be in the website, right?
All of the details on the website. Tickets available on the website. And for any updates, follow us on social on The Vegan Fashion Show on Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Perfect.
Thank you.
Any other question? I think that's it. Any other thing that wants to tell us? I think we have a very good conversation here. It's a fun conversation. I'm pretty sure that if you stay here, you can stay for more than 1 hour, right? But my producer here is gonna kill me, my manager, right, Chris? And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for all the updates of the vegan fashion.
Well, thank you for having me. And, thank you to anyone who is listening, who is interested in learning about how they can care for the animals and, be an animal ally. So
Awesome.
thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. So stay tuned for the next episode for Green Vibes Podcast. Thank you. See you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good, Chris.
Yay!
I think we did it. Yeah.
Yay!